home to 8 of the world's highest peaks, make trekking and mountaineering an important source of revenue for Nepal. The country first came into world focus when Sir Edmund Hillary of New Zealand and his Sherpa conquered Mount Everest for the first time in 1953. Until today, there is tremendous interest in the Nepal Himalayas, with 326 peaks open for mountaineering. However, the many temples, stupas, monasteries and statues that can be found here provide great spiritual interest to Hindu and Buddhist pilgrims from all over the world, and also make tourism an important part of Nepal's economy. Moreover, for Buddhists, Nepal is a sacred place where Buddha was born as the Prince Siddhartha Gautama in Lumbini, in mid-west of Nepal, a site which is now turned into a beautiful garden. While I've met and interviewed many Buddhist monks, this is the first time I've encountered a Buddhist nun, and I'm curious as to what made Annie Choying decide to shun a worldly life, whether it was for spiritual or other reasons. Let's start with you being a nun and a Buddhist nun. What's your story? What made you decide to one day
To become a nun?
to become a nun?
Actually, the truth is to get away from getting married.
Were your parents pushing you to get married?
Oh no, actually, I was really young to decide such thing, but doesn't matter. But you're still a human being, even though you're a child. You don't wish to suffer in life. That's obvious desire that every one of us share. But then the image of a society where a woman gets married and how the life of that woman would be was very clear. And the very clear example was to see my mother in my own family as a woman expected to sacrifice all her desires, her independence, in the name of society, culture, family, children, everything. But yet still not being appreciated as she should be, not celebrated as she should be, and not respected as she should be, was something that scared me. Since the age of 5, I started helping my mom, because the water was a bit far away. So I used to help my mom carry some water to the house. I learned to help her by carrying water, slowly washing dishes, slowly taking care of my brother, So during that period of time, I was always told, you are a girl, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. I was never really allowed to be a child. Those were fine, actually. Those were really fine. But the worst was to see someone who you loved the most in the world being treated badly, hurt, emotionally, physically. And that was my mom being hurt by my father. So somehow I started looking for alternative, And the only alternative I could think of, with the help of my mom, was to become a nun.
You never regretted that?
Oh, no, not at all, not at all. Never, ever.
So what aspect about being a nun that you really
First
enjoy?
of all, what I really enjoyed at the nunnery, taking refuge in the nunnery and finding the most wonderful teacher in the world. I was allowed to be a child again. I was allowed to play, I was allowed to run around, be naughty. Nobody scolded me, nobody beated me up. Nobody forced me to do any work. And second thing, the healing process took place. Because during the time when I was living in the family, I was being injured. So when I took the refuge in the nunnery and became a nun, with the help of a wonderful teacher, my healing process started. Not in the way that usually you would think of a counseling or all those kind of things, but
psychotherapy.
No, not at all. Being able to grow up in an environment where there was a lot of respect, a lot of love, a lot of understanding, and then the best example of men I found was in the nunnery, in the form of my teacher.
You're talking about the healing process. Exactly what happened within you and the way you view the world by then.
My father was suffering with aggression, kind of a disease that...
He was angry all the time.
Yeah, I mean, once he gets angry, he's not able to control it. So he used to beat up, and break up things, beat up my mom, beat me up, and all those kind of things. So it was a bit difficult. So when I became a nun at the nunnery, I was in an environment where there was something called respect. So much love, so much caring.
So it's changed the way you look at the world. It changed the way you look at people.
Exactly.
Did it make you able to forgive?
Oh yes.
Your father?
During the whole time, slowly I was being healed. As I said, my teacher was helping me to see my father in a better way, about whether he was really someone who hated you, that's why he hurted you, or someone who really also has done so much good to you. At the same time, problem is that he is suffering with some kind of an illness. So my teacher said, would you help someone on the street who is sick or in desperate need of help? I said, well, yeah, of course I would help. Even though you don't know this person or you're not related to this person, I said, why not? Then the person who deserves to be helped, the first one, is your father. And that made sense to me. And I started to try. And when I started to learn about him more and more, then I started to realize that he is not, in fact, a bad person. He's just have some problem. He needs help. So I tried to help. And in the process of helping him, I learned to forgive him more and more, and I started to fall in love with him again. So at the end of his life, he became my child, who I loved so much and I cared about. And I miss him now. And yeah, the whole relationship got better.
So in the process of helping your father, you actually discovered yourself.
Exactly.
And your true calling, perhaps.
Inner quality of myself, inner self, And I started to become more relaxed, more happy, more satisfied in life, I think.
Being a nun frees Annie Choying from the poverty, domestic violence and discrimination that women in her culture often face. It also allows her to develop her natural talent and love for singing and share her musical gift with the world. Her Buddhist hymns and chants have gained international recognition, and her schedule is kept busy with tours to Europe, the United States and Asia. Her music combines Tibetan melodies with traditional and contemporary instruments, like singing bowls and synthesizers. But her music, however, brings more than material gains. It is also a vehicle to create education and opportunities for women and girls like herself. In 1998, Annie Choying established the Nuns Welfare Foundation of Nepal to promote the education and welfare of young Buddhist nuns. The foundation also supports many activities, from building Nepal's first kidney hospital, creating access for clean drinking water, providing home for elderly women, to supporting Bodhi TV, an all-traditional Buddhist channel broadcast over the internet. Annie Choying was Goodwill Ambassador for Nepal Tourism Year in 2011. But it is her voice that this 41-year-old Buddhist nun is well known for.